Hello, Chehalem Art Lit volunteers. Happy Friday. I apologize that this video is coming out a little bit later. I went to Mexico right after our meeting and I was gone the last week, but I'm back and I'm ready for some art. So I hope you are too. This is a watercolor production. John Constable is was known for his landscapes. For his time, that was rare. Landscapes were rarely done. And they were, it was before the age of photographs, so everybody was doing portraits and so forth. So John Constable really wanted people to get outdoors, enjoy the outdoors. He wanted people to take notice of what's around them. He spent a lot of time painting clouds. Many studies of just sky, right? In a lot of his paintings, you'll see that the majority of the painting is the sky. So we are going to be doing watercolor clouds. More painting, however, it's just watercolor. It's not scary. Don't be scared. So I am going to put this here again. And should I move this forward? Hang on. Okay, so there, now you can see a little better. Okay, so we have our art cart, and I wanted to say thank you to everybody who kept it really tidy. Thank you to everybody who unwrapped canvases extra. That was really nice. For those of you who were in a hurry and left it messy, we understand, and we know that if you had time, you would have cleaned up better. So I encourage you guys on this one to leave more extra time. Now that you know how much cleanup is involved, it will help you a lot to, it will help your not you, but it'll help the people coming after you to take the extra time to dry the palettes once you've washed them. I have extra towels. If you find that the towels when you come in are wet, I will leave out extras. Anywho, let me go through the cart with you. We have the glue for the paper that we're going to glue again onto the back of their watercolor. Okay, let me reverse, I guess. So we have liquid watercolors, this production. We have tape. We have two different types of palettes. Okay, two different types of palettes. We have tape. There's palette. We have liquid watercolors, like I said, and we have these blue buckets. Blue buckets are our water bowls. I don't suggest filling it very tall, high. We have a pitcher to make it easier for filling them with water when you're in the classroom. We have the same dirty brush basin for all of the dirty brushes and palettes. Okay, so I will tell you that this liquid watercolor, I had not worked with it before I did a little testing. 2 drops goes a long way. 2 drops would be enough for, I mean literally 2 drops. We had the meeting last week, and the moms realized even more so that even like 4 drops, too much. So 2 drops of each color, and it goes a really long way. Okay, so first step is I noticed on a lot of the whale paintings that there are no names on a lot of them. And I hope that whoever has left the stacks in here, you know which classroom. And hopefully the kids can be able to recognize their artwork. But it is the most important thing to get them to put their name on the back. So if you want to, ahead of time, glue this on and maybe take the time to write name blank or something like that, or just be really cognizant when you get in there to have them first glue this on, write their name. Check everybody's before you collect them to make sure. That's a good way. So now back to the production. There are enough full 9x12 watercolor sheets for every student. Watercolor paper has a smooth side and a little bit rougher texture side. The rough texture is what we're going to paint on. Okay, so glue the paper and the name to the smooth side. Then in watercolor, because you get the paper wet, and sometimes you get it really wet, and that is a technique, and that's okay, you tape it down. Now, I do watercolor, and I would walk around with a big old board with me and tape down my watercolor papers. I just found some cardboard, and I taped around to make a border. These borders look really nice. When it all comes off, it makes it look very complete and professional. There you can see it's just a really nice finish. Now we're doing two different studies because one of our vocabulary words, see that? See how it just is going to look really pretty and finished when all the tape comes off. Tedious at first to teach the kids how to tape it, to make it, you know, even, but worth it because we're teaching them watercolor technique, and this is a major technique that you use in watercolor. Otherwise, your paper gets all bumpy, all the watercolor pools into one of those divots, and your painting's ruined. I'm going to have my classes tape it to their desk. It will dry rapidly. It's watercolor. The thing that won't dry is we're going to use white tempera paint for the clouds. However, that will be okay. That won't warp it so much. So then at the end, we'll just take off the border and let it dry completely. So you're going to name paper, start taping it to the desk. That's what the bucket of tape is for. Now, vocabulary words. The reason I'm doing two different studies is because our vocabulary word is warm and cool colors, okay? So cool colors are blue, purple, and green. Warm colors are yellow, orange, and red. We want to make a painting with one or the other, not combined. If they just want to do one for the younger kids, I have already cut some in half, and you can choose, and then they can choose. However, I think it makes it a very nice study. In art school, we had to do the same project to make a painting using solely warm colors, solely cool colors. It's a very classic exercise. So after they tape it, they're going to very lightly sketch. Now, sketching is not a term that the kids really know how to do because they go really deep with a pencil. But they're going to sketch out where they want their clouds, and they're going to sketch where they want their mountains. Then they're going to do a technique that's called wet on wet. And it's how you kind of get the colors to just kind of organically blend, okay? So then they're going to take a wet paintbrush. They're going to dip it in just water, and they're going to paint around their clouds and around their mountains. So now they're painting with just water. They're just wetting the paper, okay? And then they will take just a dab of watercolor. It's liquid watercolor. I stress 2 drops of each color into a palette. Kiddos should share a palette. So a row of the cool colors and a row of the warm colors. Okay, kids should share a palette because it will save the paint. This goes a long way. Say that again. So then they do their sky. It will blend nicely with the wet on the wet. Once they have done that, they're going to spare the clouds and they're going to spare their mountains, okay? Then the mountains come. The mountains, I have it in black watercolor. This is up to you. I I like the look of the watercolor mountains. One of the examples I just thought was really pretty. You can see that it's not that deep. It's not that solid of a black. I did mine more solid black. However, I kind of started thinking, you know, these mountains are in the distance. They're not a silhouette necessarily. So it's okay if it's not opaque black. It's okay. Because I feel like when it's black like this, you pay less attention to what's happening in the sky. And this is all about the clouds, okay? This exercise is all about practicing how to make clouds in the sky and warm and cool colors. Now you're going to take this palette, this tray, and you're going to give them, after they've done their background, their sky, sorry, you're going to give them a little bit of black watercolor, or it's your choice if you would rather. Some people already stocked the cart with black tempera paint because they thought that that looked better. It's up to you. You get to be the art teacher. So a little bit of black, either watercolor or tempera paint, and then white tempera paint. The last step is going to be their clouds. Now, they're going to use their brush and they're going to make their white clouds. As you can see, a technique is to use the black, mix it with the white, and blend it in. Make these clouds have a three-dimensional shape. This person did it, but just did it very lightly. A minor have some on there too. Gives them dimension. Then in the presentation, you'll be asking the kids to think about the different types of clouds, to notice the weather. So then they can also think about the different types of clouds that the weather presents. I don't know my cloud names, but I did one that was more at a sunset and less, cumulus, which would be these. Let's see, what else do I have to say? We're going to be rinsing and using water with this. On the other project, I said no water, but this is a water-based watercolor. I, however, want to be sweet and nice to Mother Nature and not necessarily give every kiddo a paper towel. I think it would be wasteful. So I think paper towels as they need them. If they ask for them, I have them on the cart, but I think it's excessive to give them each ahead of time a paper towel. There is baby wipes on the cart. There are, I will be emailing everybody a PDF copy of the presentation, but as before, there are the 3 through 5, there are the K through 2 here. There is a stack of watercolor packages. Now these you'll have to rip out every one for your class. So be sure to come early enough to do that. Small amount of time consuming. This is more white tempera paint. There is a bottle in here of the white tempera paint. This is what the liquid is of watercolor. Again, I stress 2 drops should be enough. They're not going to use a lot of every color. So 2 drops of every color, and then they share the palette. It should be just enough, just fine. And it's always better to refill the few that need more or use more than to give too much and waste all of our PTO art literacy money. Is there anything else that I did not tell you? So kindergarten, if you want to use a full one, there is enough paper for kindergarten to use the full one. If you want to use a half, that's up to you. Kids will be using their own pencils. I put a few in the cart just in case, but they all should have pencils, right? I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, please email me. If you do not have a partner, please email me. I would try to either, like, we can set up, you know, an email of, hey, anybody available this time to do it with me? It's really nice to have an assistant, right? Like filling up the little palettes while you're talking, so forth, just to pass things out. Anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you, all your time volunteering. That's the end of school, so I have to go. But yes, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time, your effort, your dedication to Chehalem and bringing art to our babies. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.